maybe it won't be as upbeat as we perhaps thought. It was going to be a month ago when we sat doing that 80, 90-minute preview, and I think I had England in the final.
I think you did, yeah.
It's awful. What
yeah.
a bad call.
Yeah, I mean, it's still possible, is it? Or are we out now? Are we completely toast?
I mean, I feel like they were even reluctant to say it before yesterday's game against India, and they still haven't even said, like, officially, mathematically confirmed it. But I mean, yeah, we're toast. Some really burnt toast.
Yeah.
One of those ones that you go to a hotel room, as you would know, over the course of the summer, and someone's actually put the pancakes in the toaster and not the bread. And then there's just this massive smoke screen going up in the breakfast area. I feel like that's what's happened.
Sounds like something from your own personal archive there, Joe. It sounds like something that you might have been guilty of in the past. But yeah, I mean, to delve kind of straight into it in the next kind of 15 minutes of this episode, how do we? There's so much to unpack, and so much of it has gone completely wrong. As you said, you had England down for the final, didn't you? I think I had them down as semi-finalists. I don't think I had them down as finalists, if I remember rightly. But I don't know. I can't remember. But I mean, was it? Now you've had the benefit of hindsight. People say the benefit of hindsight a lot, but I think that's utter rubbish. Like, it's one of the worst sayings in the world, because hindsight's a terrible thing, because if you had the benefit of it, you wouldn't have done it in the first place. But are you actually that surprised, looking at what you've seen so far from this England team, with how they've actually performed compared to how you thought they might have gone? Is that big of a shock, or?
I think the manner of... When I think about the batting in particular, I thought the bowlers would struggle a little bit if they didn't make a mark in the first couple of games. And obviously losing that first game to New Zealand by 9 wickets, you thought, okay, do you know what? Fair play, well done. We'll just scratch this and we'll just go again. Because it's like tournament cricket, you always talk about it. It doesn't matter too much if you get one in the L column at the start of the tournament, because there is so much time. And I don't know, it just seems very... I'm reluctant to use the word complacent, but it's almost like they don't want to be there, which I'm sure is not the case. But the way that they've approached it, and some of the decisions that have occurred, particularly when I think about the batting, I'm just like, what? I'm sure we're not this bad. I think that's what's probably shocked me the most. Okay, when you look at the other teams in the tournament, wholeheartedly they are playing much better cricket than we are at the moment. However, we're so far below where I think our projected performance kind of standard should be, that I think that's the most shocking part for me. And yeah, the manner of the defeats, like... been bowled out in less than 35 overs 3 times. The first time that's ever happened in a Men's World Cup. Yeah. What are your thoughts? You obviously weren't back in England from the start. It was always going to be tough when you look at the other teams, and that's almost been confirmed. But still.
Yeah, as I said, with the benefit of hindsight, you can look back on things, can't you? And you kind of think... there was no form about that England T20 team that went down to Australia and won that T20 World Cup and got through to the final. Ben Stokes masterclass in the final. Shaheen got injured and we came away with the trophy. And to be honest with you, in the build-up to it, people were kind of questioning about Buttler's captaincy. Is he the right man to take the team forward? We hadn't really won any T20 games. We'd strung it together with some good performances and we'd won a World Cup. Happy days. It worked. And then then you kind of take that into consideration. You think, okay, well, maybe those kind of conversations hadn't really ever gone away. Maybe that is a factor. I don't know. I know Owen Morgan's had his kind of say on it, and Matthew Mott's turned around and said, actually, there's no issue with the dressing room. You've not been in the dressing room. How would you know if there's an issue with the dressing room? Reece Topley, amazing, like such a good guy to watch. Has got to have the worst luck in the world when it comes to injuries. Is it that big of a surprise that Reece Topley's picked up an injury for England? Not really. We had a huge distraction with the unretirement of Ben Stokes. We had a huge distraction of can't we fit Harry Brook into this team? We won the toss and batted on like the hottest day of the year. No, sorry, fielded on the hottest day of the year against South Africa. We made some pretty interesting team selection choices as well in that game. Must-win game. In those conditions, you take Livingston out of that team and you bring David Willey into that team, who, to be fair, has done relatively well. The timing of the central contracts as well, like midway through a World Cup, you just go, yeah, well, here's all the contracts going. Speaking of David Willey, he's out there playing for England in a World Cup, not been giving anything. You've got players there that are potentially creeping towards their 40s of picking up 1 and 2 year deals. It's all really, really weird. It's just so strange. And now, of course, there's the added kind of just cherry in there to kind of go, well, do you know what, lads? You've been so shit in this tournament that you might not even qualify for the Champions Trophy if you keep this up. And we've got, what have we got? 3 games left to play, haven't we? We've got Australia on Sunday, I think it is. The Netherlands, who are playing seriously good cricket right now, and then Pakistan, who I think are in a pretty similar kind of boat to us in the fact that they've massively underperformed with the talent that they've got. I mean, if we could lose all 3 games, Joe, for the rest of this tournament.
The way it's going, I don't think anyone would be surprised at that either, to be honest. Obviously, Australia, I know it's one of those where obviously playing Australia, you're always going to get yourself up for it because it's such a big rivalry. However, they're on an absolute train of wonderful performances at the minute. I know obviously New Zealand made a good chase of it the other day against them, but they've obviously had started the tournament with a couple of hard games, and then they look imperious, as do South Africa, India, obviously, to mention. But yeah, it's just been collectively rubbish, I think. Like that game against Bangladesh was obviously they won by like 130 odd runs, didn't they? And 4 people got past 50 or whatever, and then literally since then it's been absolute dross.
Honestly, Joe, I think my second 11
not
could be
great.
Bangladesh though.
Yeah, they're nowhere. And then you get absolutely outplayed by Afghanistan, who have never won a game at a World Cup ever. Like you mentioned about the team selection with dropping Livingston. So I think Adil Rashid was the only spinner, wasn't he, on that day?
Yep.
So the seamers were going on and off like flicking on a light switch, because they were all absolutely cooked. If there was a moment where the ball got into the stand, they were all on the floor drinking their pickle juice. It's no wonder South Africa scored 399 and were making them chase leather. Like, they were on hiding to nothing, really. And then, obviously, that was the game that Topley did his finger and then had to come back on and bowl at the death. Like, it was just comical, wasn't it? But just, it's really, I feel like it's just really dented the kind of not the legacy, but the identity of the team. At the end of the day, the fact of it is they were defending champions going into this, and they hold the white ball World Cup, T20 World Cup trophy as well.
World Cups, yeah.
Like, how can a team suddenly be that awful? Like, yes, you have got some of the same players, and you get the whole ageing argument. But, sorry, you don't just turn to absolute turd overnight in the way that they have. It's got to be the worst title defence there's ever been.
In any sport?
Off the top of my head, I can't think of another sport where we would have seen this in the last however many years. I don't know. I'm willing to be challenged on that.
Yeah, it's hard. It genuinely is hard.
Awful.
Yeah. Would you? Something I tweeted out the other day, yesterday, maybe the day before. I can't remember. The last kind of question to kind of ask you on this point is, as you say, there's been a huge peak. Like, this England team have reinvented ODI cricket, and which, to be fair, for 2027, then the world should be absolutely bricking it, because if we've stunk the house out now in 2023. We are coming back in 2027. Nobody stands a chance. England will win the World Cup in 2027 without losing a game of cricket. That's just, well, no, we didn't do that in 2019, but it will work. But has this been worse than 2015? That actually prompted all of that kind of white ball revolution, the Morgan era, the fearless cricket that these lads aren't playing right now. Is 2023 worse? I know we've still got 3 games to play, but for 2023, for context, it was split into 2 pools. We were in Pool A. We played 6 games. We'd won only 2, and we lost 4 of those. New Zealand, Australia, Sri Lanka, and Bangladesh went through from Pool A. We finished with a net run rate of minus 0.7. We could win more games. We could. We've got 3 more chances to win 3 more games, which would give us 4 in total. I think we've only won 1 game, haven't we? So it could be better. It genuinely could be better. But it just feels so much worse.
Wholeheartedly agree. 100%. I think I was asking myself that question a couple of games ago. I thought this is worse than 2015 because you are going into the tournament with the added baggage of being the reigning champions. I think that is one thing. But also, like I said, the manner of the defeats, we've probably scored way less runs certainly in the defeats that we've seen than we did in that 2015 World Cup, which was obviously the issue because we weren't attacking enough, weren't competitive. Scoring 200, we thought that was good. But we're not even getting to 150. Like, I don't know. It's bizarre, really bizarre. And do you know what I think has almost topped it off? Obviously, I know there's still 3 more games left. But that Adil Rashid run out off a wide. Like, if you needed something to sum up England's title defence at this 2023 World Cup, please go and find the footage of Adil Rashid getting run out against Sri Lanka?
Yeah, Sri Lanka, yeah.
Off of a wide at the non-strikes end. I've never seen that before. Have you ever seen that before?
No, never seen it before. I mean, was it that dissimilar to what Alex Carey did at Lord's earlier this summer? I don't know. But I think probably by the tone of your voice, I think everybody listening can probably tell just how despondent most England fans are with this World Cup. We'll move on, but I found it so easy to kind of flick the channel over to something else or to convince myself to go and do something other than sit there and watch this England team, which, as you said, is such a shame with regards to the legacy of what has been created by a lot of these players, to find them genuinely unwatchable at points. When people might listen to this and might go, well, you're just a fair weather fan. Like, you should support your team all the way through it. And to be fair, I'd say I'm normally pretty good at that. But yeah, this lot have been stinking.